Amateurs tend to believe failure is painful and should be avoided. Champions see failure as a building block of success and treat it as a teacher.
From cornfields to high-rises, office to industrial, houses to hotels, and every other asset class in real estate, we cover the people, the projects, and the profit. Welcome to the Investing in Iowa show. This show is for go-doers, action takers, and business owners. It's for people like you who are sick of Uncle Sam taking a huge bite of your apple. If you're looking to get ahead of what's taking place in Iowa, learn who is doing what, and how you can get in on the action, you're in the right place. Hosted by Neil Timmins, an Iowa native who has been involved in over $300 million in real estate right here in Iowa. Recording in studio from West Des Moines. Here's your host, Neil Timmins.
I've got Tim Rypma here on the show. Tim, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited to be here. Say, for the audience's sake, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
My name is Tim Rypma. Pretty much like to say I'm born and raised Des Moines, Iowa. I am a real estate developer. I have my real estate license as well. I pretty much focus on urban property redevelopment, urban infill projects, pretty much downtown Des Moines. I've done a little bit in Valley Junction, but tend to lean towards that urban infill, urban redevelopment type project.
How did you get interested in real estate?
So, funny story. I'm walking home my sophomore year from a class at University of Iowa, and I'm walking, and I'm taking an entrepreneurship class, and I'm walking home, and a professor, I have to write this paper. The professor said, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Walk me through day to day, 1-page paper, but what do you get up? What do you do? Where do you go? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm walking back thinking about having to write this paper, dreading it, putting it off. And my landlord walks up to me and said, your rent's due. And I said, yeah. I went up to my apartment, grabbed my checkbook, went down, Pedmalt, wrote him a check, handed it to him. And I go, what do you do exactly? And he's like, I'm a real estate developer. So then I wrote a paper saying, I'm going to be a real estate developer, sit around and collect checks all day. So that's how I honestly got into it. And then the professor in the entrepreneurship program kind of said, all right, step 1's this, step 2 is now, write a marketing plan. Now write a business plan about redeveloping. So it got me kind of thinking. Iowa City at the time was going through this big kind of, we've all probably been there, but seen what all the buildings going on there. So I kind of saw it for the next 2 years and then got into, kind of wrote a paper, and I loved Des Moines, wanted to come back to Des Moines afterwards. So I wrote a paper about my first project on East Grand, about a city block, acquiring it, redeveloping it, and then carried it through the next 2 years of college and interned for the City of Iowa City Community and Economic Development Department, worked with a bank, interned for Rypma Properties, and just kind of put the finishing touches on it. And then when I graduated college, I had a kind of a fully baked business plan and went out and got the building acquired, and then kind of learned what I always like to say is my MBA of what not to do, kind of stumbling into how do you actually put it together.
Walk me through that first project.
So the first project, if any of you guys know where Olympic Flames at on East Grand. So we acquired 526 through 506 East Grand Avenue. Pretty much 2-story historic brick. It's a block and a half from the Capitol. And the guy we bought it from, Jim Boyd, did a great job of kind of bringing it up to a certain level and saving it, keeping roofs on it, keeping basements dry. It just had really cool bones, really cool hardwood floors. Second floor apartments were all these huge 1,600 square foot units that were just kind of makeshift together at one time. They had a communal restroom. It just, so took a lot of vision, but again, bones were great. And we went in and acquired them, studied them, got an architect involved, worked with the city of Des Moines, and then went out and actually started putting real tenants in it. And, Olympic Flame's still there today, but have a great sushi restaurant. Quentin's is there, Allegedly's, which is a bar, Oaked, Fontanelle Supply Company, Indie House, which is interior design, Porch Light, and then some great apartments above it.
Hey, Iowa investors, this is Ava Baukamp, Chief of Staff at Legacy Impact Investors. Have you thought about adding real estate to your portfolio but don't have the time or desire to play landlord? At Legacy Impact Investors, we do the heavy lifting. Our team finds the deals, manages the properties, and handles all the day-to-day operations. Our select group of qualified investors co-invest with us, gaining ownership equity without opening a tenant email or responding to a maintenance call. They just share in the income, appreciation, and tax benefits. These opportunities aren't for everyone. They are for qualified, accredited investors only. If you want to learn more, please visit LegacyImpactInvestors.com to apply.
What year did you buy it?
I bought that in '05.
In '05.
Yep.
Was it a historic rehab?
It was a historic rehab.
Realized tax credits?
Correct.
How'd you get into that? What did that look like? Because a lot of people shy away from that. You just lean into it on project one.
MBA, again, what not to do. I went to the city, kind of figured out tax increment financing, which I knew a little bit from working at the city of Iowa City. And then across the street from us was the State Historic Preservation Office. So at the time, a guy named Jack Porter was working there. So I just kind of went over to him and said, how do you do this? What is a part one? What is a part two? And kind of stumbled through that process. So I've kind of been doing that for about 20 years now. So first one was really getting my MBA in real estate.
Yeah, incredible. Still on it today.
Still on it today.
How did you, some level of listeners are going, how the hell does this kid just graduate college and put this whole thing together?
Sure.
Right? Because you can have the gumption and the ability to ask questions, but it does take some financial wherewithal to put something together. I suspect he pulled investors together.
Correct.
Just leveraged the network of if anyone and everyone you knew.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. One former insurance exec that really liked the project, kind of the big money behind it. And honestly, another guy was a buddy of mine from college that saw me work on it for the last 2.5 years. And when I mentioned it to him, he goes, heard you talk about this for 2 years. I'm going to throw some money at it too. Yeah. So it just kind of fumbled together. Yeah. I always tell people, if you got a good idea, you'll figure out the money raising side is not as hard as it sounds. It's really just once you get in front of the people, I just knew it so well. I mean, I could, the elevator pitch did 30,000 times at school. I knew really well. You get some, you know it, you get in front of someone and you just know the project and rinse, wash, repeat now.
It's a lot harder to find a project and an executor of the project than it is to find money.
Yep. Great.
Walk me through and where do you go from here? You got project number one done. You probably felt like you hit a grand slam when you finished that thing.
Yeah.
Get it stabilized. What do you do after that?
Yeah, it took a while to stabilize. Sure. I mean, I always say it takes a project 5 years to truly stabilize. But honestly, 5, we got into the 6, 08 kind of whole deal. So honestly, I've always tried to keep my business small and nimble. I don't have a lot of employees. And so I can kind of pivot really easily. I mean, you have the construction arm and you hit something like, we've seen lows in the real estate market. I don't need to feed a machine to kind of keep things going.
That's because you outsource the construction. You don't have a construction division.
Correct.
You're a pure developer.
Correct. And I don't have really a large property management side of things either. I mean, a lot of the big property management stuff we outsource. So it's really, we can be nimble and we're long-term holders. The first property I ever sold was the one you just acquired from me. Yeah. So we live off the returns and can stay nimble. So after the first project, I built something in Beaverdale called Joe's Square, across from Christopher's. I worked at West Glen for a period of time as well. And then what did I do after Joe's Square? 422, which is the Jimmy John's building in the East Village. Yep. And then 424, which is next door, which is now Amy's Dress Shop and the Creamery. It's been a couple other things. And then from there, we built the Scenic Route Bakery building, jumped over to Walnut Street over by Exile, did a couple things over there, worked on the former City Hall flat surface site, was now as a parking structure. And we built the first mass timber building in Iowa there, 219 East Grand, which is where West Elm's at, and just kind of continued to go. 2010, 11, 12, it seems like we just were flying, did the Tonic building. We bought, a couple other things. As I always like to tell people, the East Village, in 05, the city kind of came in and redeveloped East Locust Street. They did the beautification and everything and the view up to the Capitol. The state of Iowa stepped up. And if we all remember growing up in the area, the former parking lot of the state capitol, which is now a garden. They did that project. The state of Iowa did that. And then it kind of just took off from there organically. Remember the parking lots, which are now buildings, and they continue to go. So Hubble did the Bridge District, which kind of pushed the East Village up against the interstate, and then it organically grew to the east until it hit the Capitol complex, and then it kind of grew to the south, and we acquired what we could among other developers to the south, and then it really hit what today is the Market District, which was city municipal trash snow trucks, or as the old scrap processors, which was one of the first properties we acquired down there. So kind of hit that and knew that whole area needed to evolve and change and move out to continue the growth.
It seems like they're, from the Capitol to the river, and then from Columbine Grand to MLK. That's all area we're talking about.
Yep.
And
I'd say even the interstate. Yeah. Because Wayland's building that, not the Tempo, it's the Aston right now, which is 250 units right off the 6th, right off the interstate.
Yes.
Which is north of Grand.
Yeah. I keep thinking that all the ground's been gobbled up, but really it's a redevelopment play.
Yeah.
Partially, as you go from Grand up to the interstate.
Yeah.
How much time do you think it'll take to develop what's there, that Market District, until, thinking that we're out of space?
Yeah.
It becomes a pure, it's going to jump MLK, it's going to jump the interstate, right?
Yeah.
You're out of that area.
Yeah, I think, we've been working in the Market District for 10 years now. I mean, we literally, maybe 11, coming on our 11th year. The Two Rivers Park opens up in September this year. Hopefully, knock on wood, we have our first sale this year. We're working towards it. And we have a couple other purchase agreements signed for early 2026 closing. But I think next year we'll start seeing vertical. I think it's still another 3 to 5 years, Market District, but you're right. It's going to jump over ML King and continue to grow. And there's a lot of land that continue to grow along the river, and then also more to the east.
Do you think that as it jumps MLK, heads towards the river, you got a lot of houses that are probably 100 to 120 years old.
Yeah.
What do you think that looks like? Do you think that that all gets scrapped? Do you think it's a period of time?
I think it's a period of time. I mean, if you look at old pictures of the East Village, there used to be houses there. So I imagine it will evolve that way, but it will also evolve towards Indianola Avenue. Up by St. Anthony's, there's Jackson Crossings there. The Annex Group's building another project. I mean, there's some development area there. So it kind of continues to fill out to the south.
What do you think's driving the growth? All the and the interest. Before we started, there's some interest from out of state people come in and want to be part of what's going on here.
Yeah, I think just in looking at it holistically from a 30,000 foot view, you have this money on the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States, and international money coming in as well. So as those areas fill up and as caps get depressed, everyone's looking to develop something. I mean, it's a big cycle. Contractors have to build, developers have to develop. People want new things to live in, new stores to go to, new restaurants. So I think there's a lot of pressure on the coast that is pushing inward, and the Midwest, towns like Minneapolis, Kansas City, Denver, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Fargo, Milwaukee, Madison, seeing out of, Salt Lake City. And I know that's a hotbed right now. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, people that, I don't want to live in California anymore. I want to be in the mountains, Salt Lake City. All right. People in Salt Lake now moving to Kansas City now moving to Des Moines. I mean, it's this cycle. So I think it's partly that. And Des Moines is a great place to raise a family. I mean, it is, you can have your 3.5 kids, great education, great school system, safe, reliable. So I think, there's multiple cycles, but it's a great place to raise a family, great place to grow old, great place to get a job, great place to be successal.
And the work you're doing, I mean, the whole downtown landscape, and specifically East Village, the whole landscape has changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You just give thought to what'd you pay for that building 20 years ago, and you couldn't even come close, I suspect, to buying something like that today. There's just too many positive things going, which is not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing at all. You're right. We saw the vision. I mean, I was a big fan of kind of again, graduating college, and I had friends going to Denver and Kansas City or Chicago. A lot of people going to Chicago, and I wanted to come back to Des Moines and really, create something. I wanted to make it Des Moines a place that people wanted to move. They didn't have the cool downtown hipster area that you can go and get a cool apartment. And so that's what I wanted to kind of create. Yeah. So set on it and kind of came back and did it.
What's your team look like today?
I mean, I have a great network of partners, equity partners and day-to-day people. But really in my office, it's a lady named Rhonda that's kind of, I would consider CFO/controller. And then I think we're looking at hiring a couple people to help out with kind of property management and maybe a little leasing as we kind of grow our apartment portfolio. We need to, something like that. But it, again, slow, like I was talking earlier, I don't want, but really small and nimble.
If you're a house flipper, execute the burst strategy or do double closings and are in need of money, Little Guy Loans is your go-to lender here in the Des Moines area. Time is money. Loan approvals in 24 hours. Closings in 5 days. Little Guy Loans was founded by Neil Timmins, an investor just like you. Since he has been in over 10,000 homes in Des Moines, there's never an appraisal. Houses, multifamily, and commercial property loans up to $1 million. Check out www.littleguyloans.com.
Growing up, and maybe even through college, what are a couple things that were huge takeaways that helped you and help you today, serve you well?
Just watching successful people grow up in the Des Moines area. I mean, a lot of insurance execs and whatnot. It's a great place. I always tell people, Des Moines, you can be a big fish in a little pond. In Chicago, you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. Seeing that and kind of deciding what you want for yourself. Seeing people do it and trailblazers that you can then follow. That's part of the reason I think I chose Des Moines.
Back at the first deal, what's something you learned that you implemented or continued on through projects, and maybe what's something learned that you're going, never do that again?
I've learned every project. I learned something. First project, what did I learn? Don't spend too much on probably like hardware, or don't, focus too much on, every right little detail in a historic building. One thing I always tell people getting in the development business, when you meet a developer, look at their shoes. If their shoes are dirty, beat up a little bit, they're real developers because they're walking their job sites. I can't, you meet the developer with the shiny shoes, they're not walking job sites in the 3-piece suit. So I'm a big fan of always walking job sites, know what's going on when you go through them. It just everything day to day. If you walk through a job site with me, I know the electrician, I know the HVAC guy. If something's going on, say, tell me about it. I'm not going to get mad. Just it's so much easier to kind of pivot and get things handled the right way on boots on ground versus the 30,000-foot view, just, trying to figure it out. And it's been happening for several months at the end. The elevator doesn't work. This isn't going to work during construction as we get to the end of it. Let's get it fixed now.
The problems are going to occur.
Exactly.
A developer, I would suspect one strongest skill set is the ability to solve problems and bring things together.
Correct. Yeah. We've learned over the years, buildings back in the day were meant to windows to leak and basements to get water. Well, we can solve that now during construction. Right. The latest building I just wrapping up right now, the Carpenter Paper building, which is a 50,000 square foot warehouse, mass timber warehouse. We converted to Class A office. And I can tell you, we've had some serious rain lately. We're dry. So, there was one little leaky area. We got Midwest Basements out, got it fixed. A little window leak here, got on it before the window subs left. So we just stay on top of things as they occur. But, you were asking about lessons learned. Every job I learned something. So this Carpenter Paper deal, I learned so much about wood floors. 100 years ago, maple floor was more of a yellow tint. If you bought maple flooring today, and it was locally sourced, today you buy maple flooring, when you stain it, it's white. It doesn't match. So getting a white oak, putting next to a 100-year-old maple is a better match. But, explaining that and incurring, it takes time and meeting with the hardwood floor guy that knows a lot more about it than I do and educating me. And then making the case, this is the direction we need to go.
Yeah. Where one source products from 100 years ago is nowhere near the same as it is today.
old growth, local wood.
That's right.
doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, we're getting it from Canada or Minnesota or wherever.
What project are you most proud of and why?
I'd say my first is always, and then the Carpenters. I'm really excited about the Carpenter. I mean, it's new, but it's, again, we acquired that in 2022. We started swinging hammers in November of 23. We took a 50,000 square foot warehouse and converted it to office. It wasn't very fun. Everyone thought,
very heavy lift.
Yeah, everyone was like, you're doing a spec office deal in downtown Des Moines in 23. But we are 100% leased. Building looks phenomenal. Again, mass timber. So very proud of that. I'm real excited about the Market District. I mean, again, been working on it for 10 years. I think it's going to be something that we're all going to be proud of as a community when it's done. I think the park's going to be wonderful. So again, I think moving forward, that's kind of my main focus, and that's where I'm going to keep my attention until we get up and running. So very excited about seeing that evolve over the next 3 to 5 years.
Next year, 2026, what are you most excited about? One thing.
Seeing something come out of the ground in Market District. Yeah. Just finally seeing that will be exciting for me.
Yeah. All right. You ready for the final 3 questions?
Yeah.
If you had one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self.
Measure twice, cut once.
2 books that changed your life.
I brought you one.
I had a
hint that you might ask me that question. So one of my favorites, The Life of Bill Knapp. Great history on the Des Moines master of real estate development, the legend. Yeah. And you'll know a lot of names in here, like Gene Stambro,
yes,
which is Jeff's grandfather,
yes,
which is kind of fun. And you'll know a lot of people in there. So it's a fun local real estate legend story.
I thank you.
Yeah. And the other one I'm reading right now that my older brother gave me, 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. And I actually am on section 48, and I highlighted something to share with you. Sure. Amateurs tend to believe failure is painful and should be avoided. Champions see failure as a building block of success and treat it as a teacher.
I love it.
So 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. And my older brother, Paul Rypma, gave me the book.
2 books no one has ever mentioned on the shows.
And one of them you own now.
Yes. Yeah. I thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
All right. If you were cast away on an island for a year, you can only get 3 pieces of data about your business each and every month.
3 data points.
3 things must show every month to know how your business is running.
Profit and loss, obviously. A lot of multifamily, so I like to know about occupancy or vacancy, whichever, one of those pieces of advice. And the other one, probably just debt service coverage ratio, just of some sort. I mean, just making sure things are on track.
Tim, I asked lots of questions. What's one question I did not ask?
Great question. Let me think. Firm handshake, eye contact, make you rich. No, let's say question. I got to think about that one.
I know it's a challenge when I.
Yeah. We talked a lot about real estate. We didn't talk about hobbies.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So maybe, talk a little bit about, why we work, what other things we enjoy to do in life.
What drives you outside when it's not the 9 to 5, I use that quotes.
Sure.
What is it?
Well, I think it's family. I mean, I think that's a driving force. 3 little kids, but I'm also an avid fly fisherman. I've kind of grown up enjoying it, and part of, I think, the freedom of real estate allows you to get outside and explore other things. So I've kind of tend to grow towards fly fishing and traveling the world and doing different things.
When did you first get turned on to fly fishing?
So I got invited by a friend in 2007 to go to Alaska on a DIY float trip that we had no business doing down the American Creek in Alaska. And that's when I've kind of been hooked ever since. Yeah.
Your favorite place to go?
The next place.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah. So Alaska's pretty cool. I'd like to get over to Russia someday, but I don't think it's going to happen for a while.
But they're almost connected, my friend.
I know.
I was there last year. It was probably the most beautiful place I've ever been to.
Where did you go?
I went on a cruise, went to multiple places, did not make it as far as Anchorage, so stayed south of there.
Yep.
But, I mean, it was just absolutely incredible.
See some wildlife?
Hills, whales.
No bears?
No bears. Nothing on land. No. I've been up to Canada multiple times. Alaska's not as far up as Alaska. So I've seen a whole bunch of, spent more time on land.
Yeah.
Actually there. But yeah, just beautiful.
Something to think about is an adventure that isn't too hard to reach now. It's obviously a flight, but United Airlines just opened a route from Newark to Nuuk, Greenland.
Really?
Greenland, before you had to fly all the way to Denmark, then all the way back. So now you can go from Des Moines to New York to Nuuk in, matter of, it's a day of travel. But Greenland, it's something that's intriguing.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
I hear a lot about Iceland. You can get there direct out of
Minneapolis.
So it's on the list, but I've not made it there. Yeah. Yeah, this has been great. I appreciate you taking the time to connect here. See, for people, they want to find you, follow you, connect with you, where can they go? What should they do?
www.rypma.properties.
Okay, we'll put the link below in the show notes, everybody. Tim, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, may I ask a favor of you? Naturally, subscribe so you never miss an episode. But would you rate and leave an honest written review on Apple Podcasts? It does a lot for us here at the show, and I appreciate reading your thoughts. Great guests make for a great show. If you know of another Iowan who would be a great guest, or you yourself have interest in being a guest, well, get on our radar. Visit Investing in Iowa to fill out an application or recommend a guest. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, go to LegacyImpactInvestors.com. Click on the Invest With Us button in the top right corner, and there you can pick a time for the two of us to get on the calendar and connect. Until next time, keep investing in Iowa.